Okay. So I just want to talk about a little bit about what's going on with this, what's going on right now with this coronavirus. Now, first of all, this current situation that we're in has absolutely nothing to do with the coronavirus. This is about something much bigger and much scarier than any cold like virus. This is something a lot bigger than that. So if you're anything like me, you're wondering what's going on. What's going on behind it? What's going on behind it? Now, obviously, I'm not saying that the virus doesn't exist. It does. What I'm saying is the virus is being used as a front, smoke and mirrors to cover up what's going on behind the scenes. Now, before you all call me conspiracy theorist, which I am a massive conspiracy theorist, and that's a good thing. I see that as being a good thing. It's just that it seems to have been turned into a derogatory term for some reason. I don't know why, but a conspiracy theorist is just simply someone like myself who believes that people conspire. People conspire against one another, which they do. People do conspire against each other, and generally people will agree with that. I think everyone would agree with that. But there seems to be a lot of reluctancy to believe that the government would conspire, and I don't know why, because the government is just made up of people anyway. So you have to either accept that these people in government, who are just people, will conspire against us at some point, or you have to think that people in government are somehow superior beings to the rest of us, and incapable of any conspiratorial and corrupt behaviour, which, quite frankly, would be a bit of a ridiculous position to hold. Just let me have a drink. And if you look back in history, you'll see that governments have always worked against the interests of the people. Governments don't work for the people. That's just a myth that government tells people, is that they're working for the people. Governments have never worked for the people. And governments always work against the interests of the people. So unless you think all that changed the day that you were born, which somehow would be a massive coincidence, like government was always bad until the day you were born, then it all changed for the better. And that's not even a joke, because I know there are people who actually think that. Anyway, enough of that. Well, what I want to talk about is about this coronavirus and what's going on. What's really going on with it. Now, there are a lot of theories out there about what's going on, and I'll come back to, but first I want to talk about how serious this is, and what a massive threat it is to the freedoms that we've got. Because martial law is a much bigger threat to our health than any cold like virus such as this corona. Because if they do enforce martial law, which I believe they already have been doing around different parts of the world, then I'm worried what will happen to those of us who dissent. Some people, such as myself, do not see obedience to the government as a good thing. We see rebellion against the government as a good thing. So anyway, without coming across as being too paranoid, hopefully I'm not coming across as being too crazy, too crazy, probably I'm a little bit, but without coming across as being paranoid, which if any of you knew me, you would know that any of you that know me knows that I'm not a paranoid person. I'm probably the least paranoid person you will ever meet. I just like to have an honest look at the world around me. That's all. So anyway, in the event of this martial law and government curfews and all that, I just want to talk through a few situations which could happen if you chose not to participate in this curfew. Now, what would happen is that normal behaviour, such as going outside, would be treated as criminal behaviour, and would result in you getting arrested for it. Walking down the street would be seen as a criminal offence. And if and if you were being told not to go outside, if you decided not to obey these commands you were being given by whoever it was commanding you not to do this, you would see yourself getting assaulted. So you would definitely get assaulted. They're not going to politely ask you to go back indoors. They will assault you. And what's more frightening is if you fought back against this attack, if you were being assaulted and you decided to fight back, you would see yourself getting badly beaten up or even killed. Which if they're going to beat you up or kill you, that shows that this thing has got absolutely nothing to do with our health and well-being. What they're actually doing with this lockdown is they're trying to normalise martial law. What they're doing is gauging our obedience to their authority. We are being conditioned even more. We are already conditioned anyway, but even more than usual, we're being conditioned for the suspension of our rights. And what's worrying about this is how many people are falling for it. And those who aren't falling for it are being treated as heretics. It's kind of, if you say you don't believe in this pandemic, you think there's something else going on behind this pandemic. It's almost like it's almost like blasphemy. People want to burn you at the stake for it. It's crazy. Anyway, these of us. This virus is going to come and go like all viruses do. The virus has always been there. And now it's just in the media for some reason. It's getting a lot of attention in the media, which, this story is in the media for a reason. Somebody is paying a lot of money to have this story in the media, which I'll come back to again in shortly. But anyway, after this comes and goes out of the media, the government's never going to forget how easy it was for them to get us to give up all of our rights for protection of this pandemic. Pandemic in quotation marks. Doesn't exist. This pandemic doesn't exist. This is just, like I say, the virus exists. Of course it does, but it's just blown massively out of proportion. So the government's never going to forget how easy it was for them to get us to give up our rights under the guise of this quarantine. So anyway, what are some of the theories behind this? A few of the most reasonable ones I can come up with. They're trying to push these mandatory vaccinations on us. If they do create a vaccine, which let's be honest, there already will be a vaccine for it. So they create the problem, then they're going to create the solution. But obviously, they're going to not admit to creating the problem. They're only just going to say that they've created the solution. So they're going to be seen as the heroes and all this. The saviours of the chaos, which incidentally was created by them in the first place. These mandatory vaccines are coming. Another theory is that they're preparing us for a cashless society, because we're all going to be, well, I say all of us, most of us are going to be so scared as a result of this panic machine that's been churned out. We're going to be too scared to touch real money, and we're going to be opting to pay with our phones and cards and contactless payments, which is another thing they want. They want to phase out cash and get us in a cashless society. And anyway, another one is with this 5G. I don't really know much about this 5G. I just know that it's very, that it's toxic to us, and it's radio waves, carcinogenic. So while this lockdown is happening, they're going to be installing these 5G towers. Another one is, lastly, there's this issue of what this lockdown is going to have on our right to protest, as banning us from gathering in public is going to make protesting even more harder than it already is. People are protesting all over the world right now. They're not so much in the UK, but in other places they are protesting a lot. So the government doesn't want to come across as saying, "Oh no, you're not allowed to protest." The government's saying, "Right, you can't protest because of this virus," and that's just another one of their lies. It's they don't want us protesting, so this virus is a perfect excuse for them to get us to stop protesting. And sadly, again, people are falling for it. Well, they seem to be. I don't know. There's a lot of things about this I don't know. But anyway, there's nothing really good that can come from any of this. But I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on it. And yeah, so I'm going to do another update as well soon, maybe on other topics as well. So okay, thank you. Thanks for listening.